The extremely complicated process of extricating myself and recentering myself in my current recording setup.
Megatron, haven't you ever wondered why they call it oven when you oven the cold food out of hot? Eat the food. Isn't that twisted?
Anyway, I'm good.
Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love. American
Listen up,
made.
Autothoughts and Decepticlowns. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear exploration of the Transformers history on television. I'm one of your hosts, Nero.
And I'm your other host, Audrey.
And, we finished up an arc, sort of, once again. I guess you'd call it, like, the scavenger undercover arc or whatever. Because he's here on the team now.
The traitor arcs.
The traitor arcs, yeah. We got with lots of traitors, lots of shifting loyalties. And so we just got a couple episodes that are just sort of in between. Some chill times. We're going to the lake. We're having fun with the boys.
Yeah. Explicitly just the boys.
They forgot to tell Alexis.
Funny sexism.
Whoops. Oh, Rad, you fucked up big time, buddy.
Rad, wake up.
Rad, wake up. Yeah, so let's see. We watched episodes 18 and 19. And 18 in the dub is called Trust.
Trusted comrade.
Once again, the dub continues their habit of shortening the titles down to fit their little pattern here.
Their senseless slaughter of extraneous words.
Just chopping it left and right like fucking Raiden in Metal Gear Rising. So, one thing I like about these two episodes, actually, is that it's a good... these two episodes are very good for some characterization for two characters that we haven't actually spent a lot of time with, technically, even though we have spent a lot of time with them. One of them is Scavenger, and the other one is Smokescreen, because it's hard to remember that Smokescreen has been around for, 10 episodes at this point, and he just hasn't done anything. He's just been there.
Outside of menacing some kids in a subway.
For mysterious reasons, yes. And Scavenger, of course, has been undercover and kind of putting on an act. So we're not really seeing the real him. Though he is seemingly still sort of a weird, aloof hard-ass in his real persona. Even if he's not quite as much of an asshole as he is with the Decepticons.
He's kind of old man yells at Cloud. He and, Grap take turns being old man yells at Cloud.
And sometimes the old men yell at each other. Which is kind of what this episode is about. So we start off, Carlos is digging in the fridge, looking for something to drink. All he's got in there is some milk.
Yeah. So, there's something very interesting here. So he's like, all right, there's only milk. I guess it'll have to be milk. It's like, okay, fine. Fair enough. And then it goes over to the table where there's two bowls of cereal with him and Rad. And, Rad, grabs the milk from him and he's like, hey, thanks, dude. And it's like, what were you going to put in that besides milk?
I think Carlos might be one of those freaks who just eats dry cereal out of a bowl with a spoon. Listen, I like a dry cereal. I would never eat it out of a bowl with a spoon. That's strange.
Listen, you can snack on dry cereal. I'll give you that. Cheerios and Ziploc bags have been a staple for centuries. God. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it is strange. I don't know why you would be getting the milk other than to put it on your cereal, Carlos. Odd. He's also very mad that Rad stole it, despite the fact that we got cereal here. What was happening? Were they going to put Hawaiian Punch on the cereal?
Yeah, I have really distressing ideas about what these young men
These two fucking idiot boys put on their cereal, just like lemonade on the cereal.
Yeah, I'm not. I have some serious concerns about it. Yeah.
So, but they're talking. Alexis has a beverage. I guess she got the last of whatever this beverage is. Looks to be some kind of juice or maybe iced tea. A nice iced tea. And they're talking about how Hotshot...
It's beer.
Oh my god.
She's drinking.
She needs to deal with these fucking assholes all day. And they're talking about how they're like... Hotshot has been training with Scavenger a bunch lately. And it's like coming up on whatever sort of equivalent of like a final exam for him on this training period or whatever. And so they go to see what they're up to in the old training yard. And when they get there, they're freaked out by this horrible rumbling noise that is echoing through the room, and they think, "Oh God, has one of the Decepticons broken in? Is there some kind of fucked up monster crawling around?"
Yeah, and they track the noise down, and also like immediate. The like funniest part of this is that like, hey, Alexa's like, aren't you gonna go check on Hot Rod? And Rad's like, oh yeah, you're right, and immediately abandons the cereal and milk that has been so a subject of such consternation over the last few minutes. But yeah, they all are concerned about the rumbling in the bases tumbling, and they track it down, and it's Devastator, and he's just snoring. He's
taking a nap. He's snoozing. We learned that, I guess, Transformers snore. That's important. Yeah, he is snoring away, and everyone's just like, what the fuck is going on? Where's Hotshot? I thought they were going to be training. And then Hotshot waves to them from a little corner of the room that he's hiding in for some reason. He's like, hey.
He has the cutest, like, little yo in the sub.
Yeah, he's just sitting there. Apparently, this is just what Scavenger does. He sleeps a lot and doesn't really do much training. Yeah, we're learning that Scavenger's kind of a fucking weirdo a little bit. Like, he just sleeps all the goddamn time and never...
You've never seen him without this stupid hat.
And so, yeah, the Hotshot is doing some... We see him doing some, like, cool kicks and punches, while Scavenger is sensually reclining in the background.
I would not say sensually. I would say very... He looks like a... Oh, God. He looks like a Slay King.
Yeah, I also had the thought of, oh, God, he's a Slay King. And so, yeah, while he's in Hotshot's, showing up, like, hey, what do you think of that, Scavenger? And then it cuts over to him and he's just snoring. He just fell asleep right there.
Me.
And Carlos is like, I still don't trust this guy. Like, he's acting weird. He was tied with the Decepticons until extremely recently. And, like, I just don't think we should let him hang around the base. And I don't think he should be your instructor, Hotshot.
So there. Yeah. And Hot Rod's like, no, it's not like that.
Optimus trusts him, so I trust him.
Yeah. And, as Hot Rod is sort of defending him, Devastator eventually wakes up, as, the base alarm goes off.
Yeah, and doesn't he say, like, oh yeah, you need to work on your kicks.
Right.
You need to work on your form.
And, like, before he wakes up, actually, like, Carlos just, like, walks away disgusted. He's like, I'm not mad, Hot Rod, I'm just disappointed. Yeah.
We also get a cutaway to Smokescreen and Red Alert doing some work, and Smokescreen is also echoing Carlos's suspicions here, where he's talking to Red Alert, like, listen, I don't think... Like, yeah, sure, Optimus let him in and he trusts him or whatever, but I don't think we should trust him. Like, what if his loyalties fucking flip again? He flipped on the Decepticons so easily. How can I expect him to have my back?
And he also makes the point, he was like, like, Doubleface just betrayed us as well. And it's like, yeah, well, that's what you get for trusting a guy named Doubleface. That one's on you, homie.
Yeah, that's kind of on you. And Red Alert's is like, listen, I understand, but, like... Optimus trusts him, and I trust Optimus, so we're just gonna have to, like, put our faith in that. And Smokescreen's like, fine, whatever. He doesn't seem happy about it. Yeah.
He does not seem happy about it.
And one thing about Smokescreen that's becoming clear is that he is the, like, in the second episode in this batch, Red Alert calls him a warrior bot, which is interesting. Smokescreen is definitely the, like, the grunt of the group. He is the warrior guy. Has nothing for, like, any high-mindedness. He's just here to fight the good fights. He's not really about, you know, he trusts what he sees in front of him.
He's Cup.
He is kind of a Cup. I feel like he's a little bit younger than Cup. He's a little bit less, like, worldly. Like, I can't imagine Smokescreen telling a bunch of bullshit stories about all of his adventures.
Interesting, because I thought he was just as old. I really... but anyway,
old though. He's so fucking old.
I know, but I got the same. I guess I just get the same feeling from
I feel
Grap.
like Smokescreen is like the equivalent of like he's like in his mid 40s. Cup is like 65. Cup is a silver fox, you see. No, he's not. He's not at all.
Yikes. Okay, let's stop this conversation. So, anyway, we cut over to the Decepticon base, where Decepticon, where Starscream is like, so I have some concerns that maybe Devastator has betrayed us. And literally everyone else is like 1-800, like, get a load of this guy, Cam.
Yeah, they're just like, shut the fuck up, Starscream, you nerd. Who cares?
They're like, just because he left the Decepticons doesn't mean he joined up with the Autobots. You're like a paranoid. You're a hypochondriac about treachery or whatever. And Starscream's like, I just think there's a fair chance that it may have happened and that we should be prepared for it. And Megatron comes down on him so hard. He's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you, like, talk about this anymore. It didn't happen. You know, we hired him. We hired Devastator for a reason, and he finished his employment, and that's the end of it. And as he's doing it, Doubleface just makes a noise.
He loves it.
And Megatron's like, do you have something to say, Devastator? And he's just like, no. I mean, I shouldn't. And Megatron's like, no. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Devastator's just like, Doubleface is just like, well, it just seems to me that you're getting big mad about this for someone who doesn't think that Devastator has betrayed us and gone to the Autobots.
Yep. As always, Sideways is here to say, it appears you're having botherations.
Yeah. It appears to me that you're big mad.
So, yeah, Starscream in the dub at least is saying, like, I want to go out there, I want to find him, I want to make sure he doesn't tell anyone our secrets. And Megatron's like, shut the fuck up. You stop being such a tryhard. It doesn't matter. Stop it. Leave me alone. But then, of course, Minicon alert time. They gotta head down there. So once again, when we cut back to Autobase here, Optimus makes a point again of saying, yeah, no, you kids aren't coming. Star Saber's out here. There's no way I'm letting you on the battlefield.
And Carlos gets so mad about it. He's like, how dare you not let us put ourselves in mortal peril?
Yeah, and he's just like, listen, I don't know if you forgot, but that sword destroyed Atlantis. I'm not fucking around with that. And so they also ask Optimus about Scavenger here, and it's like, why do you trust him so much? And Optimus doesn't really give a satisfactory answer. He just basically says, well, I just do. I just do, and that's that.
Because shut up.
I feel like Optimus is very dad mode in these two episodes.
Yeah, now that Grandpa is here, he needs to, he knows he's being judged harsher. He can no longer be cool uncle.
Yep. So they warp out. Laserbeak is gonna watch them, of course, and they warp into some snowy area, and the Decepticons are already there waiting for them. Before that, Smokescreen walks up to Scavenger and is like, he's antagonizing him, telling him, I'm not gonna let you out of my sight, you fucking you traitorous bastard. I'm gonna make sure you don't flip. And Scavenger tries to do the whole, well, if it's gonna be a problem, I'll just stay here and watch the base. I don't gotta go.
Yeah, and Grab's like, great, do that. Optimus is like, no, Grab, shut up, stop.
Shut the fuck up, we need him. So they warp in. Yeah, the Decepticons are already there waiting for them. They're sort of set apart on the snowy plains here on these hills, and instantly, basically, Megatron challenges Optimus to a duel. Everyone else on the Decepticons notices, oh fuck, Scavenger did defect.
So in the sub, they notice first that happens, and Megatron's like, ignore him. Optimus! Because he's clearly realized, like, in the scene beforehand, it's clearly obvious that, like, Doubleface has called him out for knowing that, in his heart of hearts, that Devastator has defected, and Megatron's like, shut up, don't worry about it, like, it's not a big deal, I'm not owned, I insist, as I shrink and slowly turn into a corn cob. Yep. And so, like, engages Optimus, basically, to cover his own ass, which is really funny, actually.
It's very funny, yeah. So he pulls out the Star Saber, Optimus goes super mode immediately, and they just go at it while everyone else starts trading blows.
Did I ever mention, by the way, what, speaking of people trading blows, what Devastator's Micron companion is called in the sub?
No, because he I think this is the first time he shows up in the dub. His name is Rollbar.
Mm-hmm. Is it? It's Dirt.
Dirt.
His name is Dirt.
Oh my god, I love that his name is just Dirt. That's
just Dirt.
Wonderful. That's
it's just
perfect.
Dirt. And he evolves with Dirt, to, again, like, shoot from the hip and blast Sandstorm out of the sky with one shot. What is with these hip shots?
I don't know. I don't know why Scavenger has, like, a hip cannon. Because he doesn't have any guns. He mostly appears to just beat the shit out of people with his bare hands. But yeah, there's a very good bit. Because Scavenger also has appeared... He still appears to be a little bit sleepy. So Cyclonus runs in and combines with Drill Bit and just tries to just stab him in the face with a big drill. But Scavenger just sort of, pulls the effortlessly dodging without even trying trick. Cyclonus gets big mad, transforms to, like, start shooting him, and that's when Scavenger just shoots him out of the sky and completely disables Cyclonus for the rest of the fight. He is face down in the snow the rest of this episode.
An increasingly familiar position for him.
His fucking eyes are bigger than his stomach when it comes to opponents. He just keeps trying to fight, like, Scavenger and Optimus. Like, you should really just be fighting Hotshot or something. You are not cut out for the big boy, Cyclonus. So, let's see here. Yep. Optimus is being backed towards a cliff by Megatron, while everyone else is tangling, like Smokescreen and, Hotshot are being tied down by Demolisher and Starscream here. Red Alert is back at base, as is his usual place these days.
And Sandstorm is decommissioned.
Yeah, and Sandstorm is just sleeping it off a few feet away. But Scavenger has vanished, which everyone remarks on when Optimus is slowly being backed towards this gigantic ravine by a slowly advancing Megatron who's just slashing away. And Optimus doesn't really seem to be fighting back at all, which is a bit odd.
Well, he does have the Star Saber.
That's true. And
it is pretty hard to, like, fight against that when it's in your face.
And unlike Scavenger, he's not hard enough to just grab it with his bare hands.
Yeah. And Hot Rod, noticing that Devastator is gone, is like, no, my new best friend can't be a traitor again.
I think Hotshot has a problem with forming parasocial relationships too quickly. What's going on here? It's been like a week.
Yeah, yikes.
Soon we're going to meet another new guy, and I'm pretty sure Hotshot is also going to make him his new best friend too.
My special man.
It just keeps happening. But yeah, Smokescreen's like, I told you that guy's a fucking no good traitor. I knew it. And all of the kids are also, Carlos is also worried, but Red and Alexis is like, I don't get it. Where is he? And then they zoom in behind Optimus's shoulder and they see Scavenger hiding behind a rock. And they're like, oh fuck. Why is he behind Optimus? You only get behind someone if you're gonna do a sneak attack. Oh shit. He's gonna get him.
Yeah, and they're like, we gotta alert Optimus. And Ratchet is just like staring passively. And they're like, Ratchet, we gotta alert Optimus. And Ratchet's like, no.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So this is when Optimus and Scavenger pull one of the coolest maneuvers I've ever seen. So he is like on the edge of the ravine.
This is pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so Megatron's like, alright, I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. And then he swings the Star Saber, he like wheels up for it. Optimus separates from his super base legs, tackling Megatron with his ass as his top half like jumps off, grabs Megatron's arm, judo flips him off the edge with him alongside him, and then Scavenger fucking shoots down the mountain, scoops Optimus up in his like bulldozer bucket, and they just fucking fling Megatron to the bottom of the ravine as they safely cross to the other side.
Yeah.
The coolest shit.
It's pretty fucking Oh, on his way down though, actually. So as this was something, a great line that I noted again in my continuing attempt to record anytime they use sort of like Transformer specific terminology. As Megatron backs him towards the edge of the cliff, and is about to knock him over, he says, "Get ready for your trip to the pit."
Oh yeah, the pit is. I feel like it used to be more prevalent as a version of hell. I don't think the pit has shown up in a lot of more recent media.
It's certainly very popular still as a fanon term.
Oh yeah,
but
it showed up a lot in Beast Wars, I think.
Yeah, so he says, prepare for a trip to the pit, and as Optimus flips him over, he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I wanted someone to come to the pit with me.
You come with me to hell, motherfucker, let's go.
Yeah.
This is a maneuver you can only pull off if you trust someone a whole lot.
Right, which is the entire point. So anyway, yeah, Megatron falls to his death. I think he is dead.
He's pretty damn close once he gets pulled back up. Spoilers, he gets pulled back up, and it's very funny who does it.
Yeah, it's God. So, like, back at the base, the kids are watching this happen, and they go, and they're like, whoa, that was awesome. And Carlos is like, why would Optimus trust him that much to, like, do that? And Ratchet's like, finally, I will explain to you this relationship. Carlos, do you believe that love can bloom on a battlefield?
Yeah, he's like, listen, Optimus and Scavenger have known each other for an extremely long time. They fought side by side in, like, countless battles. They have a bond forged in fire. You can never understand it.
Does it mention in a dub that they've also fought on opposite sides?
Yes, it does. They're like, they used to fight as enemies, but eventually they realized that they had more in common and that they were stronger together. Yeah, it's a very, I love it a lot. I love that Scavenger and Optimus are these, like, fucking old war pals together.
Can love bloom on a battlefield?
Yes, the answer is yes. And yeah, so and then our alert's like, yeah, I knew about this the whole time. I just thought, actions speak louder than words, I guess.
Yeah. So,
yeah, who's pulling Megatron out of the ditch?
Well, so first of all, meanwhile, like, the Decepticons, namely Ironhide and Starscream, because Sandstorm is still out of commission, you just, like, get a shot over to him again, in copter mode, in the snow.
Just keeps fucking happening.
Like,
remember we got shot into the side of a mountain by the fucking warp gate?
Yeah! But, like, Starscream and Ironhide see Megatron go down over the cliff, and they're like, holy shit. They, like, chase after him, but they, like, can't see him at the bottom, and they're like, so...
Oh, shit. Yeah, So they're obviously not having they're feeling a little bit overmatched.
But before they're like trying to figure out. So it like cuts down, and like at the bottom of the pit there is a chain. There is Megatron holding on to a chain, and who is holding the other end of that chain? Well, you hear the sound of a motorcycle roaring.
Sideways is down there dragging Megatron out from the pit of the bottom of the ravine.
And yeah, as it cuts back to like Starscream and Ironhide trying to figure out what to do next. Starscream's like, wait, where the fuck did Doubleface go? God damn it. Like, they're just trying to figure out. They're like, we will give us like a 5-minute caucus. We're gonna get back to you about what our next move is. And like they're trying to figure it out, but before they can come to any conclusions, like the Chilean miners rising.
How much horsepower does Sideways' motorcycle mode have?
Listen, he's 2 guys.
He's technically 3 guys.
He's technically 3 guys, so he's 3 guys, so it's fine.
So yeah, he fucking launches himself out of the ravine, dragging Megatron along with him. Megatron, who is seemingly very badly injured, he's like sparking all over the place. And he is just determined to fucking kill Scavenger. He goes in for a plunge with the Star Saber, but is reflected by Optimus's weird hand blast thing.
Yeah,
it's not a clap. It's clearly not a clap.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not a clap. Though I do think the phrase "dying for making it clap" on Instagram is still too funny for me to give it up entirely. But it is not a clap.
I don't know what is happening here, but he can just shoot weird. They look like power ups in a video game. Like if you hit one of these in a Mario Kart level, like you'd get something. But they knock Megatron on his ass.
It's the love shining finger from the end of G Gundam.
Fucking Care Bear stare ass hand beam.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very strange.
And Doubleface is like, Megatron-sama, please. You're so injured. You're so injured.
Bro,
please, we gotta go.
Dying, we gotta go. And Megatron reluctantly orders the retreat, and this is when Cyclonus wakes up and is like, what happened?
Oh, in the sub, it's like, wait, don't leave me behind. He also, right before he gets zapped away.
Yeah, he also says that in the sub. I was like, wait a minute, don't leave me here. This is where, the battle's over. Smokescreen comes up to Scavenger to apologize for, doubting him and grousing at him and whatnot. And Hotshot also comes to apologize for doubting him. And the Scavenger's like, he's a cool grandpa. He just brushes it off, like, oh, don't sweat it. Whatever.
He's like, okay, is it finished? Like, are you done?
Yeah.
Like, is it over?
He's still a little bit of an asshole. He is not quite as caustic as he was in his first appearance, where he just walked into the moon base and just fucking insulted everyone.
Yeah.
But he's still a little bit of kind of an aloof asshole. But he's like, all right, apology accepted. Let's go find that minicon. Which we don't see what the minicon is at all.
Why would we?
At this point, it barely matters unless they can turn into a cool weapon. In which we don't have the third Skyboom minicon yet, so Oh, and then the one of the big things that Smokescreen is crossing Red Alert about earlier is like he fucking told the Decepticons about the Skyboom shield. Like, why would he give them intel? And Red Alert's like, he was in deep cover. I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah, they didn't activate his sleeper agent code yet.
So we cut back to the base. Scavenger is still snoozing away. He loves to nap, and you know what? I can relate. I would nap all day too if I were him.
And all the kids are like, Nosferatu!
Yeah, that wacky Scavenger. Alright, so now we move on to episode 19, the just absolutely outrageous episode 19, which is in the dub called Vacation.
In the sub, it is Relaxing Vacation.
just chopping away. The mad butchers over at what was the dubbing company over there?
Oh shit! God.
Damn, it's something or other.
It's something Canadian, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. So, yeah, we start off. We open up. I'm sure this weird rad narration about talking about how in the middle of a war you gotta find time to relax, but sometimes even that can get messed up. Over shots of Lincoln. I'm sure that was added in the dub. They love to add weird rad narration of the beginnings of certain episodes. It's not quite as bad as putting his fucking voice over all those silent Desert Kingdom flashbacks, though. So, yeah, we open in here. Alexis has gotten to the base with Sure Shock and finds it basically empty. And she's wondering where the hell everybody is. And then the fucking alarm starts playing. By the way, I love that they play the alarm for this. Like, why?
Yeah. Well, it also, I mean, it also has Hot Shot getting dunked on again.
Right, yeah, we see we see Scavenger just tossing Hot Shot to the ground again. They're still training. So Alexis, thinking it's another minicon thing, runs to the warp gate, only to find Billy, Fred, and Carlos there packing some bags into Smokescreen and Red Alert. And she's like, what the fuck is going on here? And Rad walks up behind her and is like, oh yeah, the camping trip, remember? And then Carlos is like, you told her about the camping trip, right? And Rad's like, oh, I thought you were going to tell her about the camping trip. Oops. You fucked up big time, boys.
Honestly, she wins in the end.
She does. They have a terrible time. And she is extremely pissed. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you didn't tell me about this? So you're gonna go off camping with Smokescreen and Red Alert? I'm just stuck here at the base doing nothing? And Optimus is standing here the whole time. He's just making sure everything is all the packing is proceeding as planned. And he's like, yeah, you really should have made sure that your team maneuvers were prepared, Rad. This is kind of all on you.
Christ.
But and so, yeah, they're just like, well, I guess I think she's just like, just fuck it, just go without me, whatever. I don't care about it. Doesn't matter.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
And I love this because, like, during all of this arguing, Optimus just has an exasperated sigh, which I love. And at the end of the scene, when Alexis stomps off, he just goes, I just don't get humans.
Yeah, well, You're
the one who invited them to your fucking base. That's all I'm saying. This is all on you, buddy.
That's true.
So, yeah, she's hanging out with Sure Shock at this computer, and she's like, oh, it looks like it's gonna rain soon. Should we tell them? And she's like, no, fuck them. I'm not gonna tell them shit. So we cut
fuck them kids.
Yeah, fuck them kids. We cut up to the moon base for an incredible scene, despite how short it is, because it's Megatron.
My God.
It's Megatron saying, all right, everyone, time for one-on-one combat training maneuvers. And what one-on-one combat training maneuvers means is Megatron is going to chase you around with the Star Saber and beat the shit out of you because he's mad.
Kills my army for yucks.
He sucks so much. I love it. He's just like, all right, and like he's just chasing people. I was like, oh, Starscream, where are you? Come on.
And Doubleface is watching this, and he's like, haha, suckers. And then at the very end of it, Megatron comes after him, and he's like, wait, what? Me too?
Oh, are you standing over there yucking it up sideways? Well, guess what? You are not exempt.
Me, your most loyal soldier.
I pulled you out of that ravine yesterday. Come on. And that's like this and a short scene at the end are the only time we see the Decepticons in this episode. Is fucking great. They're just up there hiding from Megatron the whole time. It
is very funny that they're just like not doing shit this episode because they're too busy running for their lives.
I think there's a cut between Megatron swinging the Star Saber to Carlos jumping in the swimming hole here.
Oh, did we mention the actual opening scene, which is of a news reporter?
Right, yeah, we see there's a weather girl and her cameraman up on a cliff talking about stuff, which is important for later. They're just establishing that these two are in the area.
Her name is Kelly.
Yes, which may be a reference to Robots in Disguise 2001, because in that show there was a human lady named Kelly who constantly got like embroiled in the Autobot shenanigans. Specifically, they always ended up destroying her cars. And also, Sideburn wanted to fuck her car. She has like a red sports car, and he was very horny for it. Listen, Rid is strange.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the English voice for Prowl in that show was like a shock jock guy named Wankus?
Wankus.
Wankus.
That's a good name.
It's wonderful. So back to Vacation. We'll cover Rid eventually. Don't worry. But
I plan to die before then, but Nero will.
Oh, you're gonna abandon me to the fucking wasteland of like...
Yeah, that's on you. That's on you, boy chick.
Great. So we're back to Vacation. Yeah, the boys are just swimming. Billy and Fred are also here, but they're fine. They don't really say anything, which is nice. Like, they're just around. They're just hanging. I love this scene where, because Smokescreen and Red Alert never transform in this episode. They're just hanging out in car mode the whole time.
Because there's always a chance whenever they're out in technically public areas that someone else will see them.
Yeah. So while the boys are swimming around and having a good time, Red Alert and Smokescreen are kind of off to the side, talking about how it's nice to get a little R&R from time to time. He's like, yeah, Red Alert's like, yeah, it's with all the constant fighting, I think it's a really good idea to just set time aside to just relax and do nothing. And Smokescreen's like, you know what, that you're totally right. They're just here to chill. They got their fucking like mojitos out on the side.
Yeah.
It's great.
They really are. They really are like left the kids with the daycare kind of thing. But there is a point where like the kids sort of show them their favorite activities. So
yeah,
Carlos, Billy, and Fred are doing like Tarzan rope jumps.
Yeah, they're like swinging on a rope into this fishing hole, and Carlos is like, hey, Red Alert, come on in, it's fun. And Red Alert's like, well, I don't think that's a good idea, but what if you swing around on... Yeah, what if you swing around on Long Arm for like a way cooler Tarzan jump?
And he does.
He does. Meanwhile, Rad is a little bit down the way fishing in the river.
Rad, who continues to be the nerdiest person in the show. I can't believe they call him Rad. Who nicknamed him Rad?
I don't know. He's just such a big nature nerd, though. Like, he is specifically a nerd.
Oh my god, he has
nature.
a line in this show again that's like, can't forget.
Yeah. He's talking about the dam, because like Smokescreen rolls up and is like, "Hey, what are you doing over here?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm doing some fishing, but ever since they put up that dam, it's been harder and harder to find any fish in here, And Smokescreen's like, "What? You can catch fish with that thing? Like, why? Is it like relaxing or whatever?" And he decides he wants to help out.
Give a bot a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a bot to fish.
So he just starts like smacking the water with his crane arm. And Rad's like, "Hey, cut that out! What the fuck are you doing?"
Rad's like, "Great googly moogly, stop! Like you're ruining it. They're not. All the fish are gonna run the way." And as he's like yelling at them, and
fish flies into Rad's arms.
Grapp is displacing gallons of water. In some of that water he displaces is a fish that lands perfectly within Rad's cradled arms.
He's like, "See? I'm good at fishing." So let's see here. Yeah, so this is where this kid shows up. We see him like looking at this through the trees, because all he sees is a bunch of kids, having fun. Well, there's also like construction and rescue equipment hanging around.
Right. It's just like one level from one of my favorite video games, Heavy Rain, where there's a little kid named Sean in a construction site.
Sean!
Press X to Sean! Don't worry, we'll get there.
Press X to Sean is one of the best videos on the entire internet. My favorite bit is where, at some point Ethan falls over, but he's still yelling. And when the camera's really far away, you can really, really distantly hear him going, Sean!
Yeah, I mean, there's an entire, half of the scene where he does not appear on camera for, 3 minutes, and you can hear him, Sean, in it. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is Transformers.
Featuring a kid named Sean.
Featuring a kid named Sean around a construction site when there's supposed to be heavy rain. Nope, it's fine.
It's fine. David Cage clearly watched this and said, this gives me an idea. I will make a game called Heavy Rain. And it will have nude scenes in it. Yes. Thanks, David.
But not enough racism for my taste yet.
I have to wait a couple of games to make the racist one, yes.
We're getting a little vampire here. We're getting a little Romanian instead of French.
Just slipping closer and closer to the Transylvania mountains. Fuck. So yeah, this kid joins in. He's hanging out with the boys, and Carlos is like, all right, listen. You can't tell anyone about the robots, right? He's
so stupid. I'm really quickly losing patience with Carlos.
Carlos is very stupid, but he straight up says to this kid, you can't tell anyone about the robots, and even if you did, no one would believe you.
Oh, that's not what he says in the sub. In the sub, he's like, all right, now these guys are really cool, but you can't tell anyone they're a Transformer. And the kid's like, what's a Transformer? And he's like, that's what these guys are, but you can't tell anyone. And his dad comes over, pressing X to Sean. Sean! And Sean comes over to him and is immediately like, hey, Dad, did you know that, like these Transformers are really cool? And Carlos is like, what?
Oh, yeah. Carlos, he's 9. What the fuck do you expect was gonna happen?
So, it really makes me...
He's not the brightest. He's very enthusiastic about everything, but I don't know. You gotta stop telling people about these robots. But of course his dad's like, that's nice. Let's go home.
Yeah.
So this is when it starts raining, just as Alexis predicted. We see at some point Kelly and her cameraman, who sort of glimpse what's going on at the site. They see a bunch of kids playing with construction equipment, but Kelly manages to glimpse Grindor and Highwire pressed against Red Alert's interior door.
Yeah, so they're just driving by on a pass, and literally she has a moment, with just like the kid in the subway, and everyone else, where she's like, wait, no, we gotta stop, there are robots there, and her cameraman's like, that is probably a toy. These are kids camping, that's probably a toy. And she's like, no, this could be my big break. I don't want to do weather reporting for the rest of my life. I want to be a real journalist. And he's like, all right, we got a job to do, though. So...
They also mentioned that it's going to rain, and that is going against Kelly's predictions. So assumedly, Alexis has her own bespoke, weather prediction. Alexis invented AccuWeather.
Listen, what can't her GPS do? I'm telling you, dog.
She's a genius. Rad's a nature nerd. Carlos
sucks.
The wind whistles through his ears. There's nothing in there. So yeah, it starts raining. So the boys kind of we see why Smokescreen and Red Alert are here. They are the camping the interior. They're basically their tents. They're set up in their. I gotta say, for a construction crane, Smokescreen has a pretty cozy looking interior.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind sheltering there if I had to.
Billy and Fred are playing some cards while Rad and Carlos try to get a little bit of shut eye. So
yeah, and Ratchet's like, okay, it's time for you guys to go to sleep, and they're like, nah.
He's such a fucking babysitter. This is why he has this role. He's perfect for it. Optimus clearly doesn't want to deal with these little shits. He regrets it immensely. God damn, why did I invite them in here? Why did I invite 2 more in here?
Yeah,
Fuck.
and as like back at home, Alexa, who's exactly where I would want to be in this situation, cozy in her bedroom,
Yes,
under her covers, in her blankets, listening to this horrible storm outside, is like, oh, it's a horrible storm outside. I have concerns.
I should probably go check on them to see if everything is fine. And as it turns out,
Spoilers.
it's not, because she sees on TV later, Kelly's there. She's talking about, there's a lot of flooding concerns with the dam, so they are going to have to open the floodgates to release the water level, which means the valley that the boys are in will be flooded very, very soon.
But don't worry about it.
It's fine. They'll get out in time. That we cut back. They're getting ready to head back to base, but then Carlos spots Sean on the other side of this raging river. He's like, "Oh fuck, what is he doing out there?" So he and Red Alert drive across the river to pick him up, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing over here?" And he's like, "I came to say goodbye to the robots."
Yeah.
And just then, they get buried by a fucking landslide.
Yeah. It happens, like, they hear the roaring happen. It's so funny. Again, like, Ratchet, there's a bit of, it's a little comedic to look at, because Ratchet can't transform.
Yes.
Because he cannot give away, risk giving them away. So you just, like, see him stuck, unable to do anything, and get buried. Because he couldn't transform to get away from it.
And he's just, he's just having a terrible time right now.
Yeah.
Not as bad a time as Carlos and Sean are, though, I'm sure. So they get buried by a landslide, and Smokescreen is trying to dig them out. Unfortunately, and Smokescreen's like, "Hey, Red Alert, can you just transform and just stand up out of there, basically?" And Rad says, No, wait, don't do that. There's a fucking news crew up there. Because Kelly and the cameraman are there covering this dam flooding. This damn flooding.
They are always saying this.
So Optimus Hotshot and Scavenger dispatched to go help out. It's a good thing Scavenger is a bulldozer. Is all I'll say.
Yeah.
I don't think Smokescreen could have dug him out in time. On his own.
Yeah, it's
So as they're trying to work, they're desperately trying, and there's also they are broadcasting. I think no, they're not broadcasting.
They're not. No. They are not broadcasting. They are very specifically not broadcasting. But across the river, Kelly is filming, so she's not live. It's not airing. But she's like, holy shit! Like. She's like, she's like, a rescue team has arrived, but she gets like a good view of like the inside of the driver's seat, and she's like, but where's the actual crew? Like, who's controlling these things? So she's filming this entire process. Yeah,
and because this is like her big break, like a big disaster, 2 kids in mortal peril. Rescue team working around the clock. It's this is the shit she's been waiting for.
Sorry, there are two notes that I actually missed. One is as they prepare for the storm to come, so like Billy and Fred are about to take as the rain gets heavier, they're like, fuck yeah, rapids, finally, and they bring out like a tube because they're like, we're gonna go river rafting, and Rad's like, no, you shouldn't do that. And they're like, why not? And they're like, it's gonna get really bad. And Rad just has this line where he's like, you shouldn't underestimate the power of nature.
Nerd. I mean, he's right.
Nerd. Yeah, but nerd. And then the other thing is that when Sean is coming up to them, again, this is the part where it's press X to Sean, because his dad is on the other side going, Sean!
Yes.
Sean! Jason!
Sean!
Yeah, so anyway, so Kelly is filming all of this, and at the base, Alexa's like, Optimus, where is everyone? And Optimus is like, what do you mean, where is everyone? And she's like, they're going to die, for sure. And
he goes, fuck.
Great googly moogly, and she, like, puts up on the screen, and, like, as soon as she says it, like, they get a incoming comm from Rad being like, Ratchet and Carlos just got buried with some kid.
Yeah. It's so funny because she's like, I think they might be in horrible danger. I think they might be flooded by that dam. And then bring Rad's here. He's like, yeah,
we're in horrible danger. There's a flood by the dam.
Redalert and Carlos are stuck under a mountain of fucking mud. And there's a kid in there too, so he can't transform. And there's a news crew. And it's just everything's gone to shit. So as everyone is kind of working around the clock here, Sean's dad runs up once again, yelling Sean. Now,
just really quickly before you get to that. So Alexa sees this newscaster, sees Kelly, right. And she's like, well, she has a great line where she's just like, I'm sorry, but you're in the way. And she sends the Cyberhawk over to Kelly and, like, first of all, harasses Kelly into, like, falling on her ass. And then I guess, like, uses magnets or something to basically completely erase all her footage.
Yep. Gotta make sure the masquerade isn't broken. I feel like, Alexis really does have the pragmatic, she'll get an opponent out of the way. She really is primed for the world of politics.
Primed?
So yeah, this is when Sean's dad shows up. He's yelling Sean. He's pressing X rapidly. And he's like, he's frantically trying to get to help. He's like, wait a minute, those cars are empty. And this is when, alright. So Hotshot, like, smacks him on the ass with his door, which somehow knocks him out?
Yeah, well, it's like hitting your funny bone. A lot of people don't know this, but if you get smacked on the ass in the exact right spot, it does actually knock you out. It's like a Vulcan nerve pinch.
So he gives him the fucking Cybertronian, like, ass smack to just completely knock him out. So they just kind of load him up into Hotshot and tell him to, like, just keep him out of the way. Because, Hotshot probably isn't going to be of much. Although, now that I think about it, Hotshot has those fucking buzzsaws on the front of his car mode. So he could have done something, but he just gets Sean's dad out of the way. He is no longer pressing X. He is asleep. So Scavenger finally digs down enough that Smokescreen can grab Red Alert and kind of drag him out of the muck here. And just in time too, because I believe the floodgates just opened, so they got to get out of there quick. So, and also so the floodgates open actually before they're done, because the river, there's a surging wall of water coming down, and Optimus, like, positions himself to block the river.
Yeah.
Which is then Red Alert gets lifted up by Smokescreen.
But there's also a moment where, like, he and Devastator are in the water, and Devastator's like, I don't see anything, and then immediately gets clobbered by a log.
Yes, that comes later, because what happens first is Red Alert finally is able to transform. Smokescreen and Red Alert both transform. Red Alert does his glowy grapple thing up to high ground. Smokescreen travels up it with his crane hook, and this is when Optimus and Scavenger are still down in the valley, and they're like, alright, we should get out too. And the Scavenger's like, yep, good thing there doesn't seem to be anything coming, and then he just fucking gets smacked in the face by a log and falls on his ass. Yep. And of course they cling to each other in the raging rapids. as Optimus tries to make sure Scavenger doesn't get fucking washed away by the river. How do they escape? I don't remember. I somehow didn't take any notes on how they actually get out of the river. I think maybe it's probably Red Alert. Oh, Red Alert wraps his grapple around Optimus's arm. That's right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He and Smokescreen yank him up. So everyone is safe. Sean comes to, surrounded by giant robots. They're just all standing in a circle around him in robot mode. And he's like, holy shit.
And once again, they're like, Bill Murray voice, no one will ever believe you.
Yep. Because then Sean's dad also wakes up. He doesn't have any questions about the mysterious sports car that he woke up in, I guess. Or or why it was there, because, the rest of them could be considered rescue vehicles, I guess. Optimus is kind of a sketchy one, because he's a truck, but he's like a weird-looking truck. But this, Hotshot is just a fucking sports car. Regardless, Sean's dad walks out, like, oh, thank goodness you're all right. And Sean runs up to him, yeah, it was thanks to those big robots back there, and they turn around and they're gone. How'd they do that?
Magic and warp technology, probably.
They probably just warped back. But yeah, so, and of course Sean's like, well, that's nice. That's nice, dear. Let's go home.
Yeah. So meanwhile, back at base, like, Alexa is waiting for them all to return, and she's with RC, and RC's like, and she's like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. And she's just, like, sort of calming herself down, and RC, like, beeps at her in a way that is meant to imply, you look mad.
Yeah.
And Alexa's like, no, because I just said, if you didn't just hear me, I'm not mad. So,
So the boys warp in, soaked head to toe probably. And she's like, thank goodness you're all right. I'm not mad. I'm not experiencing a swirling vortex of emotions right now. I'm fine.
Feeling great.
Yeah, she starts crying. She's like, I was fucking worried sick. I should have warned you about the rainstorm. You could have been seriously hurt. Like,
this is not her responsibility. It is not her responsibility to be the mother of this group.
Absolutely not. But she instantly is like, you should have taken me along anyway.
She's definitely the first daughter of an immigrant family.
Absolutely. And they're just like, yeah, we're sorry, Alexis. We should have told you about it. We fucked up real bad. But you got us out of there, so hey. Then she starts chasing Carlos around because he says something stupid. You know how it is.
Yeah.
This is when.
Well, yeah. So she starts to like chase him because he's like, wow, she's so strict with us or whatever, and she starts to chase him, and like RC holds up her arm to stop her. And then Carlos says something else, and she's like, no, fuck it, and runs after him. And it's like, yeah, that's right, Alexa. Don't accept boys will be boys as an excuse.
Get his ass. Yeah, and so this is when we cut back.
Yeah, our final scene of the episode. Decepticons, come out and play!
So Megatron is watching around the moon with the Star Saber drone. It's like, hello? And Sideways is just hiding behind us, like a bunch of steel siding going, fucking hell. Alright, I'm glad he hasn't noticed me yet. And then we just see Megatron looming over him, and he says, oh, what was that, Sideways? You said I didn't notice you?
Oh, interesting.
Cut to black.
He does not find him in the sub.
Oh my god, that's even funnier.
Yeah, so it just ends with him like looking over the cliff and like double face pressed against the side so he doesn't get caught.
That's what the Decepticons did with their day. Very productive.
Yeah.
Very productive.
These guys tried to take over the world. Take over the universe.
Yeah, it boggles the mind. I don't know how the war reached a stalemate, honestly. With Megatron in charge. Presumably he has very talented commanders elsewhere that just aren't here. We got questions.
Yeah, we do. None on Twitter this time.
But we got a bunch on Discord.
It's true. Our first one of those is sorry, Comlink. I know our Discord channels. I set them up. From Casey Truckosaurus, which Transformer do you have join on one of those 2 people in a boat fishing trip type deals? Probably Double Face, just because he's the smallest.
I would not want to be in any confined space with Sideways. That seems like bad. That recipe for disaster right there. I don't trust that guy.
Yeah, but if he's in the boat with you, he's not going to capsize it.
That's true, but I imagine that it is like a boat built to hold the weight, or maybe they're just sort of hanging out nearby. Honestly, I think the one I would probably hang out with, Optimus. He seems the most chill. He probably has some wisdom to share. He'd enjoy a good fishing trip.
From Casarachnia, if you were in a Gilligan's Island type situation, which Transformer would you want with you? Assume every attempt to leave the island results in disaster.
Huh.
Probably Starscream?
Really?
In this continuity, at least. I think this continuity of Starscream has like a good combination of not being a total treacherous dickbag but also having like a pretty solid survival instinct that would make him an asset in that situation. Also, like, we see him do like things like first aid and whatever. Like, he can sew his own arm and wing back on, so
yeah. I was gonna say Red Alert for similar reasons. Cool-headed, good at fixing stuff, not liable to like use me to fish for sharks or whatever, as some of these other fuckers would be. Yeah, I think Starscream and Red Alert are seem like the best choices for this.
yeah. Also from Cass, which Transformer does storm chasing? Okay, in this continuity, it's Sandstorm.
Yes, but the addition is for fun and for the science.
Yeah.
So that's two very different types.
That's
Red
true.
Alert does it for the science. He wants to learn about this planet's,
Rad does
weather
it for the
systems.
science.
Yes.
Transformer.
Yeah.
Not
Well, Rad
character.
and Red Alert are partnered on this venture. They want to learn more about the weather. Sandstorm does it for kicks.
And then in any continuity, the answer to both of those questions are the Rainmakers.
Yep. They just love rain. That's just their whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I don't really want.
Sunstorm does it to be closer to God.
Yes, he fly. If I fly into the tornado, I will see the face of God. And the other two are like, yeah, sure.
Nova Storm and Acid Storm are like, we've made a huge mistake.
Oh, look. He's gonna get himself all torn up again. God damn it. Well, honestly, I don't know if we should let those three or near any sort of rain system. That seems like a bad idea.
It's fine.
One of them is named Acid Storm.
It's literally just their names. It's literally their entire designations. It's what they were built to do, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Fine.
If you were Teen Spy, Alex Rider of the book series and film Stormbreaker, which minicon/Transformer would you want as a companion? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about.
I mean, this is more of a, like, I would say we can just apply this to broadly any, like, teen spy, like, young adult spy novel thing. It doesn't have to be Alex Rider. I feel like it could just be what minicon would make the coolest robot sidekick for a teen super spy.
I'm gonna go, because it's / Transformer, and I'm gonna go off. Alright, so again, in this continuity, I'm gonna go off book a bit, and I'm gonna say the Cyberhawk.
Yeah. That's definitely like a cool sentient gadget.
Yeah. In any continuity, I mean, he kind of sucks, but Mirage is a spy for a good reason.
Oh my god, Mirage.
He is a spy for a good reason.
He would be a really good partner, for sure. It would also be funny to see him be a fucking snob at these kids. That would be hilarious.
Mirage has an outlier ability. Mirage, who is a fairly prominent figure in the G1 cartoon, and not really any other continuity since, which is interesting.
He has like a weirdly outsized importance in like the first 5 episodes of G1, and then he just kind of vanishes, pun intended.
I mean, he's still like there. He's still. I think I don't know. He's like a very core part of the G1 sort of like Autobot special intelligence team.
As a member of the first wave of the toy line, Mirage has sort of cemented his place as like an important character. But similar to Hound, he doesn't really show up in big roles all that often.
Yeah, which is interesting. But Mirage has an outlier ability that does allow him to turn invisible, so pretty good for a spy.
Yeah, pretty good. Carshmallow, Steven Marshmallow asks, which Transformer would you want to help you in a most dangerous game type situation? Which Transformer would definitely be the hunter in the most dangerous game situation? That's Megatron.
Okay.
Literally, they have an episode like that in Beast Wars.
Literally, we had an episode like that here.
Yep.
Just now that we just covered.
That is true. He was doing it right now.
Yeah. In this continuity, yeah, Megatron is the hunter. Who would I want as like a partner in this continuity?
For this one, I'd say Sideways.
Devastator.
No, yeah, you're right. Devastator, or Devastator / Scavenger. He will kick anybody's ass.
Yeah.
I will put money on Scavenger anytime. Once again, he blocked the Star Saber with his hands.
He also has like experience. You know what I mean? Like he has strategy and experience and stuff like that. So I think he'd be a good partner. In any continuity, I think probably I'm actually
Tarn.
I was gonna say Tarn or Overlord, and I'm not sure which one it would be more likely to be the hunter, but I would probably say Tarn.
Yeah, Overlord is way more into like.
He'd be into this shit.
That's true. I forget he's not just like into
he's a freak. He's a fucking freak too. But obviously the Phase Sixers in general would be. I'm sure like Six Shot would not be against this either. But either Tarn or Overlord would be the hunter. Who would I want with me? Probably IDW Perceptor.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, because he is very smart. He is still a scientist, but he's also a badass sniper in IDW, which I love.
That is, I have to say, the funniest. So Perceptor turns into a microscope, which I don't think he ever does in the IDW comics. I don't think you ever see him in his alt mode. But to take a microscope and turn him into a sniper is like so big brained.
It's incredible. I love it. I love the Perceptor as a member of the fucking Wreckers in IDW. That's great.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Wheeljack is a Wrecker as well, right? In IDW?
No, only in Prime.
Only in Prime? Okay. Yeah, I can never get those kind. But yeah, anyway, I think Perceptor would be a very good partner to have in terms of, again, strategy and also like MacGyvering things, and also he would snipe who's ever coming. Like, what a fucking beast.
That's the last one I love. Casarachnia asks, if you could yassify one Transformer, which would it be?
Waspinator!
Overlord comes pre-yassified. He's already yassified.
Yeah, he's pre-yassified. Waspinator.
I don't want to see what that looks like. I'm
Waspinator.
very frightened. From this beautiful.
From this continuity.
Yes, Queen.
From this continuity, Ironhide, because I don't like to look at him.
I like it better when they remember to color his weird monocle a different color, like he has like a goggle thing.
Right.
When they color his whole face one color, it looks really
flushy.
Freaky.
It's really flushy.
I would also love to see yassified Scavenger.
I can't hear you suddenly.
Oh well, it's trying to keep you from hearing the phrase yassified Scavenger. Can you hear me?
That's so weird. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Interesting. You like just cut out. Do you want to try leaving and coming back? There you go. Hello?
It's trying to prevent me from saying the phrase yassified Scavenger.
I heard you just enough to hear yassify Scavenger before you popped out again. Are you saying things right now?
I'm not saying anything right now, but I am now.
All right, good. I can hear you. We're good. We're back.
Great. Yassified Scavenger. I want to see it.
Yeah, but no, besides that, I would say Waspinator.
Yeah,
Or like any of the Insecticons, really, like Bombshell.
Oh god. Like any of the Transformers that have like a weird face, I want to see what happens.
A fucking Yassify Predaking.
Oh man, I constantly have to stop myself from buying Titan class Predaking. It's gonna happen someday.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's gonna happen someday. I already barely have room for the fucking Metroplex I have.
Oh Jesus! One day I'm gonna buy $500 life-size Unicron. Not life-size, obviously, but like the fucking.
I'm gonna buy a moon.
That's no moon. But folks, we've been Prime Cuts. Thank you for listening to our show. You can find us on Twitter at Prime Cuts Pod, not at Pot of Greedcast, which is where I said you could find us 2 episodes ago. Ignore me. Just listened to that episode again yesterday, and I fucked up. You can find us on at Prime Cuts Pod on Twitter. You can find us on the Noise Space Network, which you can find at noisepace.xyz. We're really happy to be a member of the network. You can find a lot of other really good shows on there, including things like Nanoroy's Nightmare and Error, which is about really shitty creepypastas. You can find Kyle XY, which is about Kyle XY. You can find Henry Kissinger, the Pokemon Going to Die, which is a leftist praxis politics podcast. Very, very significant range on all of that stuff.
Yes.
You can also...
Wow, Cool Robot, if you want more robots.
Yep, always Wow, Cool Robot. You can... we also have a Discord, which we would love for you to join.
Join the Discord.
Still gonna plug it. You can find a permanent link to that Discord in the description of this and every other episode, as well as in the website, the URL link in our Twitter bio. And I personally been Audrey, you can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum on Prime, my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to my other podcast, which is also on Noisepace, which is Pot of Greed, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. And we are in season 3 of GX now. We just started, and it's good, and it's fun. And... yeah. And you can find that on Twitter at Pot of Greedcast. That's what you can find at Pot of Greedcast. Not this one. The other one. And that's me.
And you can find me on Twitter at Dragon Smoocher. You can, this weekend, by the time this goes up, I will be deep into an Endwalker fugue state. So don't even bother me this weekend. All Endwalker all the time. It's moon time. But if you are also sucked into the world of Final Fantasy XIV, you can follow at Heidland Radio on Twitter, my upcoming project, a comprehensive companion podcast to Final Fantasy XIV. That's with my friend Jane, who I did the Podcast of Power with, a comprehensive companion podcast to the 2018 She-Ra show. That is at Podcast of Power. I am also on Disney Minus, at Disney Minus Pod, talking about the cursed domain of the House of Mouse. I have selected Jingle All the Way for our next viewing, mostly because I wanted to do a bunch of Arnold impressions. So look forward to that in the coming weeks. Is there anything else I have? I think that's it.
Cool. Well, until next time, I'm going to check the weather forecast, transform, and roll out.
I am going to fling myself into a ravine. I'm not owned. This isn't blood, it's victory, Energon. And I will transform and roll out in a completely unharmed and non-hurt way.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Peach.